Hello everyone, welcome again to our YouTube channel Ielts by Neil. Today we are going to discuss one of the very important type of questions in Ielts writing task 1. So as you know, Ielts is divided into 4 sections, that is listening, reading, writing and speaking, and writing is further divided into 2 sections, that is task 1 and task 2. So in this task 1 there is a type of question that is table. So you'll get a diagram like this, and the data will be written here, and you will need to summarize the data into 150 words, right? So we're going to discuss how we have to do it, and what are the tips and what are the things that we have to be careful while doing the table. We also call table tabular chart. Okay, so just in case if you want to write a synonym for the table, you can use the word tabular chart. Before we move on, let me tell you how many type of questions there are in writing task 1. So this task 1 have basically 6 type of questions. Number 1 is line graph, in which you get a graph like that and some lines are given and the data is given and you need to describe it. Bar chart is similar to the line graph, it's just the bar columns are given here. Okay, pie chart, as we know, this is a pie, and again the data is given like 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%, and the table that we're going to discuss today, this is like this. Okay, and a map, as it's saying, a map of the area will be given and you will need to write the summary of that. Okay, and the process or a flow chart. So basically flow chart is normally telling the process of doing something. For example, this next step is this, next step is this, and this is a flow chart in the process. Okay, so we have done the videos on almost all of these task 1s. Okay, I will leave the link in the description below, you can just go and have a look. And if you have still any questions in your mind, please do let me know in the comment section. So without any further delay, let's begin our table for today. So we are taking an example of this table. So this is the question statement. So let's read the question statements together. It says the table below presents the food consumption per person weekly in a European country, means in one European country, per person, weekly means per week. Okay, so here the food is given, vegetables, meat, wheat, bean, cheese. Okay, and the years are given here, and the consumption is this. All the data given here is consumption of these foods. Okay, so what we have to do, we just have to summarize this data into our own words. Okay, and we have to write more than 150 words, right? So let's see first of all what is the structure of this. Okay, so please note that structure for all the writing task 1 are same. For example, the first paragraph will be introduction, in which you will just paraphrase the question statement. Okay, next one is overall statement, in which you will write the main features. Okay, and next one is body paragraph 1, 2, and if the data is like a little bit more, you can make even 3 body paragraphs. Okay, so what do we write in body paragraphs? We write the detailed information. Okay, and make sure it's organized. Your body paragraph should always be organized. Okay, so whatever the data is given, you have to organize the data half and half, or this way or that way, whatever way you are comfortable with, and then you have to write in the body paragraphs. Okay, we're going to discuss this structure with the table today. So first of all, to begin with, let's see how we can write the introduction. So to write the introduction, what we have to do is we have to paraphrase the question statement, or we have to change some words in the question statements, and we just have to write in our own words. So let's see which words we can change. the table is the table, we cannot write anything else. Okay, below we don't have to write this because in the answer sheet there'll be nothing below. Okay, presents, you can write illustrates, okay, or you can write provides the information about. Okay, food consumption, just leave it like that. Maybe for a person you can say for people. Okay, weekly, you can say per week. All right, in a European country, you can say in one European country or in a particular European country. Okay, so whatever you want to say, you can choose one of these, and the years will be the same. All right, so let's see how the introduction will look like for this one. So if you look at this one here, see, the table provides information about the weekly food consumption of people in a particular European country in 3 years, 1992, 2002, and 2012. So what I've done is I've changed some words, but I have made sure that the meaning of the sentence is still the same. Okay, so that is very important. You can change some words, but the meaning will always be the same. Okay, changing words should never change the meaning of the sentence, right? This is a very crucial thing that you have to keep in mind. Okay, now moving on to the next part, that is overall statement. So if you had a look here, the introduction is done. The next one is overall statement. Okay, so what is the overall statement? Basically, overall statement is the main feature. So whatever the main feature of the table is, that will be our overall statement. Okay, now there are certain things that we have to keep in mind while writing overall statement. The first one is you never write values in your overall statements. By values I mean this. Okay, these are the values. Okay, these years, yes, you can write because these are the parameters. This you can write, these are the parameters, but the detailed values you never write. Okay, because this is just the overall statement, it's not the detail, it's just the overview. Okay, number two, you have to try to write at least 2 sentences. Okay, these are the 2 things that you have to keep in mind while writing your overall statement. Okay, now let's have a look for this one. What could be the overall statement? So if you have a look at this table, basically what they're doing is they're given information about food for these 3 years. Okay, and vegetable, meat, wheat, bean, cheese. So these are the food items. Okay, so if you have a look, vegetables had the highest proportion, okay, for all the 3 years, and cheese had the lowest, see, out of all the 3 years, right? So this could be our first overall statement. Okay, and if you could closely have a look, these all values are increasing in the next year, then increasing in the next year again. So means a similar trend is being followed for all of the values. Okay, so this could be our 2 overall statements. Now let's see what the overall statement should look like. So if you have a look here, it says overall vegetables made up the largest part of people's diets in all 3 years. Means all 3 years largest diet with this one, vegetables. Okay, which is true. While it's a contractor we have used, cheese made up, we can use like however or whereas. Okay, cheese made up the smallest portion of people's food intake. Cheese the smallest. Okay, I have used here people's diet and food intake. I've not used the same words because repetition of words and information is never appreciated in Ielts. Okay, so just be careful with this. And the next statement is, it is also notable that the trends remain the same over the 3 given years. Trend means these values increase for the next years and increase for the next 10 years. Okay, so this is the trend, remain the same for the next given years. Okay, now if you have a look in this overall statement, I have not written any value. Okay, and I have written 2 statements. Okay, so this makes a good overall statement. Overall statement is just the overview of whatever the diagram or data is given. Okay, it's not the details, right? Details we have to give in the body paragraphs, right? Now, introduction is done and overall statement is done, and the remainings are body paragraphs 1 and 2. So to write the body paragraphs, what you have to do is, first of all, you have to divide the data. Okay. The best way is to divide the data and write the body paragraphs. For example, you can divide this way, that you can cover 1992 in one body paragraph, 2002 in another body paragraph, and 2012 in another body paragraph. Okay, you can go this way, or if you're going to go this way, you can take these two in the first one and these three in the second one, or these three in the first one, sorry, and the remaining two in the second one. It's up to you, however you want to do it. There's no such rule that you have to go this way or that way in the Ielts, but whatever you are more comfortable with, you should go that way. Okay, so let's see how the first body paragraph will look like. So let's see. I've written the consumption of vegetables and meat was the highest in people's diet in 1992 at 2140 and 1148 grams respectively. So we're talking about 1992, 2140 and 1148 for these two were the highest. That's correct. The amount of vegetables people consume rose means to increase, okay, slightly over the years to reach 2220 grams in 2012. It means the amount of vegetables people consumed actually increased, here increased, and here increased, and finally reached to 2220 grams in the year 2012. Okay, so we are done with vegetables. Now moving on to the next one, that is, there was a small increase of more than 60 grams in the amount of meat in 22, means there was small increase until here. However, the figure dropped back to 1132 grams in 2012, means after 2002, after 10 years, the consumption actually dropped a little bit, okay, and came to 1132. Okay, so what I've done is I've covered the vegetables and the meat in the first body paragraph. Okay, so means these two are done, right? Now we are left with wheat, bean, and cheese. So let's see how we're gonna do it in the next body paragraph. For the second body paragraph, as you know, we have covered these two already in the first one. Now we're left with these three. So let's read what we have done. It's wheat, beans, and cheese, mean all of these three we are covering here, made up the rest of people's diet at 837, 532, and 113 respectively in the year 1992. So we have talked about 1992, and these three values are covered. Okay, these figures all grew over the next 20 years. So 20 years, we're jumping straight onto here, to reach 977, 590, and 125. So all these 3 years, okay, respectively in 2012. So what I've done is I've just talked about the values here, and then I've said that it increased over the years and finally reaching to the last year, that is 2012. Okay, so what I've done is I have just missed these three values, but I have said that in the next years it increased, means in 2002 the values actually increased, that is mentioned. Okay, and I've finally written the values of 2012, right? So what you have to do is, similarly, whenever you get a table, first thing is that you divide and then you should write. Okay, because in table what they do, they try to confuse you with a lot of information. For example, if you try to write all of this information in just 2 body paragraphs, it's just not possible, considering you only have to write 150 words. Because if you write more like if you go for like more than 200, it's just gonna waste of time. And how we say, the more you write, the more mistakes you make. Okay, so you have to make sure that you do not write too much word. You can keep up to 150 to 170, or maybe 180 is the best window. Okay, so it is okay to miss some values as long as you are going through that year. For example, for these three, I have said that it increased with the time and finally reaching 2012, and the values were these three. Means I actually went through this year, I said that it increased. Okay, so that is the point. You should not ignore at all, you know, you should talk something about it, but you can leave some values without being written, you know, in the body paragraphs. Okay, so I hope you have understood how to write a table. If you have any questions related to anything in IELTS, please do let us know in the comment section below. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for giving love to our videos.